The relentless pounding on the door rattles the rotting floorboards of your cramped London garret. Your landlady is screaming for her overdue rent, her shrill threats of debtor's prison echoing violently up the narrow stairwell. You pace the worn rug, your hands trembling as you pour another glass of cheap Madeira, retreating into a furious, panicked haze to cope with the sheer humiliation of your poverty. You are Oliver Goldsmith, and you are entirely incapable of managing the practical realities of your own life. Just as the door threatens to splinter under the woman's fists, the imposing figure of the great Samuel Johnson steps into the room, instantly silencing the chaos. He assesses your drunken rage without judgment, calmly takes a newly finished manuscript from your cluttered desk, and departs. He returns shortly after, having sold the pages to a local bookseller for enough guineas to pay your debt and secure your temporary freedom. Here lies the central, agonizing dissonance of your existence, a profound literary genius bound forever to personal self-destruction, creating a wildly unpredictable life where high art is constantly held hostage by the desperate scrambles of basic survival. The roots of this lifelong chaos lie across the Irish Sea. You enter Trinity College Dublin in 1745 as a teenager, clad in the deeply humiliating uniform of a sizar, a sleeveless black gown, and a stark red cap that openly broadcasts your impoverished status to the wealthier students. You endure brutal class segregation, performing menial chores for your peers while routinely clashing with haughty academic tutors. The physical scars of childhood smallpox have left your face deeply pockmarked, breeding an intense insecurity about your appearance that cultivates a desperate hunger for social elevation. You absorb a public reprimand from the college administration for your reckless participation in a violent student riot, marking a period of profound academic indolence. You repeatedly attempt to force your way into respectability, but your impulsive vanity always betrays you. Seeking a stable living, you arrive at a solemn church ordination interview. Instead of wearing the expected modest clerical black, you present yourself in a pair of glaringly inappropriate, scandalous scarlet breeches. The bishop rejects you immediately, offended by the absurd sartorial display. Later, your uncle mercifully provides a generous £50 fund to secure your passage to London for formal law school. Before you even board the ship, you wander into a bustling Dublin gambling house and lose every last shilling to a smooth-talking swindler. Here we see the modern tragedy of imposter syndrome, manifesting as self-sabotage. When you fundamentally believe you do not belong in upper echelons, you unconsciously engineer your own exile before anyone else can do the job for you. Penniless and entirely adrift by 1752, you abandon a half-hearted attempt at medical studies and embark on a destitute vagabond walking tour across the European continent. You trudge through the muddy roads of Flanders, France, Germany, Switzerland, and Italy with absolutely nothing but the tattered clothes on your back. Starvation stalks your every step, forcing you to rely on the precarious kindness of strangers and your own humble, unrefined talents. You walk into isolated rural European villages at dusk, drawing a cheap wooden flute from your coat pocket to play lively Irish jigs for the weary locals. These spirited tunes earn you a meager meal and the privilege of sleeping in a farmer's drafty barn. In university towns, you employ a different survival tactic, entering formal philosophical disputations. You argue passionately against local scholars, leveraging your sharp wit to win a small cash prize and a hot dinner. Experiencing absolute rock-bottom poverty firsthand bestows a unique, empathetic genius that formal elite education cannot provide, synthesizing the raw, human material that will eventually fuel your most enduring philosophical writings. This brutal wandering education brings you back to London in 1756, where you fall headlong into the desperate, grinding world of Grub Street. The opportunistic publisher Ralph Griffiths hires you as a hack writer, ruthlessly exploiting your destitution. You live in a squalid garret once again, churning out anonymous book reviews and hastily fabricated histories for mere pennies a word. The looming threat of the bailiff's knock keeps your quill moving long into the night. The uncompromising grind of commercial exploitation forces your unfocused potential into disciplined execution. You write because if you cease writing, you will freeze or starve. The trauma of your European vagabond days is replaced by the relentless machinery of the burgeoning British print market, feeding a newly literate middle class hungry for endless reading material. You learn to bend your profound observations of rural decay and human nature into saleable, razor-sharp prose. The definitive turning point arrives in 1764, fundamentally transforming your social standing. Samuel Johnson and the celebrated portrait painter Joshua Reynolds invite you to be a founding member of the club, elevating you from an impoverished Grub Street hack to the absolute inner circle of the British Enlightenment. You now sit in smoky London taverns beside intellectual titans like the statesman Edmund Burke and the economist Adam Smith, formally recognized as their creative peer. Remembering the crucial manuscript Johnson sold to appease your furious landlady, you watch as your chaotic output finally begins to garner elite validation. Yet, the deep-seated inadequacies that plagued your youth in Dublin remain rigidly entrenched in your psyche. It is a bitter irony of human nature that the validation we seek most desperately is often the very thing we are structurally incapable of internalizing once we finally receive it. Surrounded by the greatest, most articulate minds of the 18th century, your agonizing imposter syndrome only magnifies, leaving you perpetually anxious and terrified of being exposed as a fraud. Across the next decade, you achieve staggering peak literary success. You publish undisputed masterpieces across 3 distinct genres, demonstrating an unparalleled versatility. The evocative philosophical poem, The Traveler, the beloved widely read novel, The Vicar of Wakefield, and the triumphant comedic play, She Stoops to Conquer. Goldsmith is now a celebrated household name. Flush with sudden wealth, you purchase extravagantly expensive, gaudy plum-colored coats, wearing these vibrant garments as brightly woven shields of status to mask your enduring physical insecurities. But monumental professional mastery cannot cure your crippling social incompetence. You are intensely jealous of your peers' accomplishments, prone to disastrous conversational blunders that leave the sophisticated members of the club utterly baffled by your clumsiness. In one painfully vivid incident at a vibrant, elite social gathering, you become desperate to prove you possess physical grace to match your literary wit. Attempting to display your athletic superiority to the unimpressed guests, you try to vault over a decorative water fountain. You miss the clearance entirely, crashing violently face-first into the stonework. Monumental professional success frequently masks a desperate, ongoing need to seek validation through absurd physical or social posturing, proving that sheer genius on the printed page offers absolutely no protection from profound humiliation in the parlor. By the spring of 1774, at the age of 45, your reckless habits finally overtake you. You contract a severe kidney infection that leaves you bedridden. Despite your towering literary fame and substantial income, your compulsive generosity and severe addiction to high-stakes gambling have left you crippled by massive, uncontrollable financial debts. Your mind is paralyzed by profound distress and unease. As your physical condition rapidly deteriorates, you stubbornly refuse conventional medical advice. Instead, you choose to self-administer massive doses of Dr. James's fever powders, a highly toxic patent medicine containing dangerous, unregulated levels of antimony. Your attending physicians literally beg you to stop swallowing the powders, warning explicitly that they are systematically destroying your failing organs. We often cling hardest to autonomy at the precise moment we are least qualified to wield it, preferring the terrifying certainty of a self-inflicted disaster over the vulnerability of yielding to another's vital expertise. Driven by the same vanity and stubbornness that fueled your rise, you double the dosage, actively precipitating your own tragic demise. You die in agony on April 4th, 1774, heavily burdened by debt and entirely devoid of peace. Yet the true, enduring measure of your chaotic existence is revealed not in the messy ledger books of your creditors, but in the devastating reaction of your esteemed peers. When the grim news of your premature passing reaches the club, the stoic, rational facade of the British Enlightenment shatters completely. The great statesman Edmund Burke, a man renowned for his fierce composure, bursts into uncontrollable tears upon hearing the announcement. Joshua Reynolds, deep in the focused solitude of his painting studio, simply drops his brush and refuses to touch a canvas for the remainder of the day. The agonizing dissonance between your literary genius and personal self-destruction finally ceases, but the sheer emotional weight of your brilliant, deeply flawed humanity secures your immortality among the harshest critics of your age.